Zeens and Roger. This is episode 39. I am Rosina and I am here to chat away about crochet. And there's loads of crochet, loads of yarn. And I will do my very best to keep up with myself because I'm a bit poorly. It seems that a weekend at a yarn festival can make you poorly. So if I cough and splutter through this, then apologies. And if I lose my steam and energy, then well, I will keep going. And we'll see how I do. See how we go. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah. So, I have been at a yarn festival, I'm sure you know. And I'm going to talk about that later. That's not the first thing that I'll talk about. The first thing I'll talk about is my jumper. And by the way, stick around because I've got a lot of news too. Loads. I've got a lot of labels because I am well aware that the other day I didn't really go into any detail about the Mount Tremper sweater. Not really. I always forget the details, don't I? So, rows of half trebles with some nice ribbed details. I'll stick a photo in the show notes so that you can see the whole shebang. But I messed around with the striping. It comes there it is. I messed around with the striping because I didn't want a deliberate, very starkly contrasting stripe going across here. I just didn't. So I changed the striping of the body so that it looks like this. But this is how it's supposed to have a stripe going across here somewhere, you see. The sleeves are as pattern. But they come all the way down to the tips of my fingers. I have not blocked this because the sleeves are already long and because it's quite a nice, it's not massively over boxy, but nor is it sort of a slim fit, which as a wintry cosy jumper you wouldn't want anyway. Well, I wouldn't. I don't want it to become any bigger, so I'm not blocking it, and I think it'll be okay unblocked. It looks fine, you can get away with that. It's not supposed to be a smart jumper, it's a sort of just one that keeps you warm when the weather's a bit cold, and it will keep warm. It is warm because it's got wool in it. It is Lion Brand Woolies, and I think it's a worsted weight, but it's very close to Aran because worsted and Aran are interchangeable a lot of the time, I think. I'm using in another project some British Aran acrylic and some US worsted weight acrylic, and they are pretty much the same. It's 80% acrylic and 20% wool, and you can machine wash it, and it's quite cheap. I think I got it from lovecrochet.com, which is where you get Lion Brand in this country, I think. There might be other suppliers as well, I don't know. But they had an offer on when I bought it. So my whole entire jumper worked out to be £28, which for a homemade garment, and any kind of jumper that you buy in a shop, is 28 quid. It's nothing, is it? This is my bargain of the season. As I said, it's the Mount Tremper sweater, and it's by 2 of Wands. It's a free pattern that you can get on Ravelry, but it's on her website as well. I made the small, but actually it's come up quite big. I did not do a gauge swatch because I was too lazy, but I did make about that much of jumper before I measured it like the width. I was making the back first, and I measured it across, and I decided that it was going to be too big, and so I frogged that back, and started again on a smaller hook size. I think the pattern recommends a 6mm, and I used what says 5.25. I'll put it away now. I don't know where it is. This is my hook case. Is it in here? Never fallen out. Oh, curse you for not, curse myself for not putting it back properly. See, I used this hook, which says it's a 5.25mm, which I've never heard of before. It usually goes from 5 to a 5.5, yeah? But it's also a 9 or an I hook. And I don't know if that translates to a 5.25 anywhere else, because somebody said it was not a 5.25 an I hook, it was a 5 or a 5.5. I don't know. But I went down to what that one was, and if I ever make this jumper again, I'll go down to a 5. Probs. And I think that'll be better. Because whilst it doesn't fit badly, I think I can afford to just tighten up the stitches a little tiny bit. You attach all the ribbing on after. That's the last thing to go on, so you make all these bits at the end. And it's nice ribbing too. It's 1 row of half treble, 1 row of slip stitch, 1 row of half treble, 1 row of slip stitch. And it's lovely. I like it. And if I made it again, I would stick to the original plan, the original pattern and the striping. I think actually it just looks better. So I need to stop fanning about with how things are and just stick to what I'm told. Yeah, I made it small, but I bought an extra ball of the main colour, which was the pink. And I'm glad I did, because that was the only one I would have run out of. Had I stuck to the ingredients, which was 3 balls of the main colour for the small, I don't know if I've got the pattern. Here it is. I do have the pattern. It says, for the main colour for a small, you only need 3 balls. But I bought 4, and I cracked open that 4th ball. I didn't use like loads of it, but I needed it. I needed it for like half a sleeve or something. But because if you go up to a medium, you need 4 balls, and that's why I was like, if you ever need to go up to an extra ball for something, then I err on the side of caution and I get the extra ball for the next size, thinking that it's always going to be on the cusp if you need more for an extra size. Do you know what I mean? But for all the other colours, because you only need, like even for the large size, you need the same amount of balls that you need for the small size. I knew I'd be safe with those ones, so I stuck to the list of ingredients for the quantities. I haven't measured mine actually, but I know it comes up slightly wider than the measurements on there. Oh yeah, and I have to eat my words. It was me that was talking out of my bottom before. Last episode, I mentioned that there might have been an error with how the arms are shaped. When you go out here and here, on the original pattern, that is where you change colour. And so therefore you can do the chain before you start doing half trebles along. Whereas I couldn't, because my colour changes down here somewhere. So if you change colour here, it'd be easy. But no, I carried it across, so therefore I had to do some foundationless half trebles. So it's my fault, not the patterns. And thank you to the person that pointed that out to me, because I didn't notice. I didn't notice it was me, due to my tinkering. Didn't even think about it. But to be honest with you, I didn't try very hard to find out a reason why I thought it was wrong. I'd already found a solution to my problem, so I was happy with that. I didn't want to look back and do the research to see if the pattern was wrong or not, because I'd done it, I'd achieved the thing. So that is my Mount Tremper sweater, and I really like it. I would make one again, I would. but it just depends on if I've got time. And what colours would I choose? And I don't think I would use woolies again, as much as it's perfectly alright. It's sort of like a mild mottled, mottled? It's not a flat colour, it's sort of tonal, I suppose. The pink is, anyway, the green is flat, blocky colour. The grey might be, no, the grey's not. And the blue's not either, it's got flecks of colour in it. So I'd quite like some flat colours, like not with speckly bits in. But I don't know what I would choose. An Aran weight. But I'm not sure what brand or what makeup of yarn. I don't know. That's not to say that this is horrible, it's not. But I think the colours are a bit not me. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to do the same thing exactly again. I want to experiment and try something new. Maybe I could make an entirely new jumper. Just stop going back to old patterns. I don't know. Right. Oh, do you want to know the colours? Rose Heather, Oxford Grey, Rose Heather, Avocado, Rose Heather, Avocado. I don't have the blue one, sorry. It's a darkish blue. Sorry. Let's talk C2C kickoff. Today is Thursday the 4th of October, and on Sunday, which is the 7th of October, it is the Corner to Corner Crochet Along kickoff. It is the start. So I know a few people have already started and they're forgiven. You can start now if you want to. Just don't tell me. I have written a blog post. The blog post is up. It's been up for a few days and it has got all the information you should need, and I'll link to it in the show notes for this. I hope that I answer any queries or questions you've got. So go to that blog post and read it and find out all the info. It's got all the links you need to pattern ideas and inspiration, the Ravelry thread for the chatter group, hashtags, blah blah blah. Just go and have a read. I am going to apply a 20% discount onto any C2C patterns I have for sale in my Ravelry store, should you wish to buy one of those. I am releasing Havana Nights on Sunday as a pattern that you can buy. Oh, well, there you are. Still here on my sofa, Havana Nights, it's this one. I used King Cole Price-Wise to make mine, which is an acrylic double knit. This is a single bed size. So at some point it might go on one of my kids' beds, but at the moment it's within easy reach of my sofa, or sometimes it might be on the armchair over there. I don't know. It's a living room blanket for now and I love it. I've never used King Cole Price-Wise before. I was told that that was the yarn I was going to use, and I was told to choose the colours I liked within a certain theme, and so I did. I went a bit different. I don't think they're sort of a traditional mix of colours, but I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And as you can see, it's got an offset chevron, which has been surprisingly successful. I've had loads of fantastic comments about this blanket, loads, but it will be for sale on Sunday, from Sunday, and it'll have a 20% discount on it. The pattern I've written already, it's already up because it was in a magazine, Crochet Now magazine, a few months ago. The pattern will have the chart, which is, you know, the most important thing, and all the other info you need, photographs for how to do all the like increases and decreases, how you make it into a rectangle. This afternoon I'm going to record a tutorial for how to make this teeny tiny little sample swatch, and whilst this tutorial isn't for Havana nights, it will help with the construction of the colour work and whatnot. This is actually a tutorial for the cowl I talked about last episode. It's a cowl that fits around your neck like that. And do you know what, it reminds me of ski suit season. I'm gonna have to think of a name that's something to do with like a shell suit or skiing. It reminds me so much of that. I need to think of a name, I haven't got one yet. That's the cowl, and then this is the hat, which has still got an end attached. I wonder what the hat looks like. I haven't even tried it on yet. Oh, that's cool. Hat. It's the same thing, but I've just put a brim on it and gathered it at the top. I quite like that bit. Ooh. So the tutorial is for the hat and the cowl when I get around to it. And the other thing I need to do is a pom-pom, which I started just before I hit record, and then I was just like, oh no, record first, it's more important. But I can do both at the same time. So this is going to be a pom-pom. A couple of weeks ago we went to the in-laws and I asked my father-in-law to make me a series of these. I haven't tried them yet and they need sanding down. I haven't sanded them, but it's just like, they look like tuning forks or something like that. And I've written that's 10 centimetres from there to there. This one's 8 centimetres, and I've got a 6 and a 4 as well. But they are my new pom-pom makers. It's the easiest way to make a pom-pom, I promise, guarantee it. I don't actually know how many times I should wrap this round. I'm using Aran weight for this set, although this particular yarn, which is 100% wool, kind of goes fat and thin. But I reckon you'll have no problems if you wanted to use like an acrylic Aran weight, then I reckon it will probably work out to be the same. But this is from Hobby, who are supporting the C2C cowl and offering this wool. I don't know how many times I've wrapped around, I reckon that's enough for a pom-pom. They're offering a set of the wool that I've used for this set as a prize for the cowl, which I think is amazing. Oh, scissors. I'm going to try this and see what it's like. And if it's not, I'll just make another one. Because what you do is you've got that. I'm sure you've seen these before. Just tie a knot around the centre. Best pom-pom makers ever. Apart from the fact that I do need to sand these because the yarn's not going to slide off properly. I've got to go out in a minute. I'll come back later and record the rest. I just wanted to make a start because I got a lot on. It's the wool gathering this morning. Oh shoot. Right. Don't use this yarn to tie your knot because I've just pulled too tight and it's broken. Somewhere I'm bound to have some yarn, but the problem is before I went to Yarndale at the weekend, I tidied everything away because I wasn't going to be here. Let's use some of this. This is what I've got left from my Mount Tremper sweater, by the way. So that's like nearly a full bowl of that. And just sort of a few bits left of the others. But that will be good for tying my pom-pom with. You can see I'm rushing now, can't you? Less haste, more speed. Okay, what else do you need to know about the cowl? Let's have a look. Oh, do you want to know what I'm making? For the cowl, I'm going to try and make... For the cowl, I am going to make a bag. And Claudia's given me this idea because she asked me the other day if I could make a chart much in the same vein as my Right Stuff purse, which is a pencil case, and it's C2C, and on one side I've written right, as in right, and on the other side I've written stuff. A play on words, if you will. Right Stuff. It's a pencil case. Anyway, Claudia asked me if I would do one that said something else on it. And so I've made a chart that says something else on it. And it's quite fun. And I'm not going to tell you what it says. But I'm going to ask Claudia if it's okay, because I think the reason why Claudia asked is because she wants to make this particular C2C chart. But as soon as I saw it, I was just like, I want to do the same. So I'll have a word with her and see if it's okay to share it. But also, I just might share the Right Stuff chart. Yeah, I haven't sanded this down. It's not coming off. I'll share the Right Stuff chart if you wanted to make a pencil case. It will be a freebie, I think, because I was going to release the pattern as a paid for one. But I just haven't got time to do all the layout. I'm just going to snip it off it. Why not? Snip it off it. So I'm going to make like a small pouch purse type thing with some writing on it. That's cool. And the other thing, these scissors are useless. The other thing I'm going to do is try and combine, do a bit of a double dip, and make it work for the sock along that Claudia is doing along with Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast. So it's Crochet Luna, the Crochet Circle podcast, and lots of other people getting involved as well. So Crafty Escapism, Addy Day Designs, Crafternoon Treats, and lots of others for this sock along that's started already. I'm using my star scissors, and whilst the blades are really sharp, the stars are digging into my thumbs. I'm not having much scissor luck here. Where's the other? Usually I've got about 5 pairs of scissors. There's another pair. Oh look, they've got a stitch marker on them. I'll take my time, I suppose. These are useless, jeez. Come on. I don't think I've got enough wool on this pom-pom anyway. I'll do this off camera. This is stupid. So yeah, I might combine it with the sock along and try and come up with some C2C socks. But they won't be wearable because I'm thinking Christmas stocking. Leave it with me and I will see if I can come up with a C2C sock. At the moment, I've got a kind of idea about the sort of thing I think it's going to be. I drew a chart for a stocking the other day, but I've lost it. Surprise, surprise. If I just give this a major haircut, it'll be alright, won't it? The stocking that's in my head will be alright just as a novelty thing, but not as a thing you wear. But since we're talking about socks, I'll move on to my sock stuff. But I might save that for in a minute after I've been to the wool gallery. Do you think this will be big enough? I don't think this is big enough, you know. Well, like once that's had a haircut, wow. Do you think I should go bigger? What do you think I should do? Bigger? Not that big, is it? I'll try. I've got plenty of yarn. I've got this much yarn left of the blue because that was the one I used the least of. And I really want a blue pom-pom. Leave it with me and I'll see what I decide in a minute. Right, I'll be back. For you, it'll be like a split second. For me, I'll be back in about 3 hours. See you in a minute. Right, I don't know where I was before. Sorry. It has been exactly 3 hours since I stopped the first bit. I've had lunch and that's refueled me. Feel a bit more with it. The only thing I'm aware of is that I think I probably talked a bit too fast before, so I do apologise for that, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I've got my pom-pom, got a big, ooh, it looks lopsided. I've trimmed it, but I think probably I'll trim it down a bit more because it's not perfectly shaped. This was the one that I was doing before, so this one's just a little bit bigger. I'm going to sew it on. Oh, that's better, isn't it? A big pom-pom is what you need. I used my 10 centimetre what's it for this pom-pom. If I've got time this afternoon, I will make a start on the video tutorial for the hat and the cowl. But I'm aware that I was talking about that before this morning. So I'm going to sew it on now. Which really, every time I try and sew a pom-pom on, you think you're being really, sort of attaching it really tightly and securely. You think you are. And then you check it and you look at it. And for some reason, the yarn is really loose. Why is that? Why? Happens nearly every time. You think you've done a really superb job of stitching it on. And then it comes loose. So I'm going to try very hard to prevent that from happening this time, but I've got a feeling it'll do it the same because I'm not going to change my technique or anything. Right, see how I'm tying that on with all my might. Get on my hat. Oh, I'd moved on. Had I moved on to socks already? Socks. Well. Okay, it's the sock along. And in my head, I would quite like to make 4 pairs of socks for the sock along. One of which would be C2C. I've got a feeling I mentioned that. I'll dig out my drawing and have a go and see if it's doable. And if it is, I'll let you know. But that's going to be an experiment. But also I'm going to make some traditional, you know, some actual real socks, not just like pretend pair like a stocking. 3 other pairs in fact. Pair number one are in this bag, which is adorned with some buttons or badges. I've got a special crochet clown one there. You won't, I'm sorry, you won't. I'll take a photograph so you can see them because I have 3 as a giveaway. Claudia, these are from Claudia from Crochet Luna. She made me the beautiful bag which has my socks in, 1 pair of socks in, and a prize. One of the C2C cow prizes are badges of your own. I've got some stitch markers in here from Lisa from Raspberry Crochet as well, which will be another prize. Thank you. Anyway, that's not got anything to do with socks. I'll try and take photographs of everything if I can remember. In the bag is this book. It's a free pattern book that came with an issue of Simply Crochet magazine a few months ago, and it has 3 patterns by Ron Strong in here, and I'm doing these ones. It's a bit of a cop out because it means I get away with that. I'm doing the ankle They're just little shorties. And those were going to be my only socks because I thought they'd be quick and easy. And you'll be really pleased to see my progress. This is what I did the entire weekend while I was away in Yarndale. Just that. A cuff. And despite measuring my foot and whatnot, which the measurement of my foot suggested I should be making a medium. I think there's 3 sizes. I'm making a small because I put the medium around my ankle and it was ridiculously big. So I'm making a small, and I've gone down a hook size, excuse my hair, I've gone down to a 2.5, and I think, which is it's a very fine hook. It's 4-ply yarn though. Oh, I've done nothing, absolutely nothing. I've only ever made 1 pair of crochet socks before, and when I started making those, they were completely different from these. They were a double knit for a start, but I had to go down hook size for those and go down a foot size because they were enormous. So from that experience, I've applied it here and gone down a hook size. I haven't done a gauge swatch. I'm just guessing, but that's going to fit my ankle. I've got ankles like twigs, that'll fit me no problem. It's just the rest of the sock will be questionable. I won't have an idea. I've not picked this up since Sunday, and it's now Thursday. I'm using a hand-dyed yarn that I bought at Stitch Fest Southwest last year. I reckon it's hand-dyed by Kate, who isn't working as a yarn dyer anymore. I don't know the colourway, but it wouldn't be available anyway. And then this, which is Devon Sun Yarns, a mini from Devon Sun Yarns, also bought at Stitch Fest Southwest. And apparently this is going to be probably going to become known as a sacrificial sock. One that I may not ever end up wearing, and it might never get a partner. I don't know. But I'm making that one because it's a real sock, and I kind of feel like I need to make a real sock before I can truly say I don't like socks, because I don't like crochet socks. I've always said I don't like crochet socks. I think they're uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable, and the precision you need to make them so that they actually fit precisely. It's a lot of work. I can't be bothered. So my other socks are going to be a lazy pair of socks. Coming up for a month ago, I went for my very first time to Hobbycraft. I've never set foot in Hobbycraft before, and I think it's probably the #1 craft shop in the UK, isn't it? That is just solely a craft shop. I've never been to a Hobbycraft before. And so about a month ago I went to one, and it's about a 40-45 minute drive from here. And I have bought lots of wool. I've bought all that. Pretty, such pretty colours. And it's so soft as well. This is a Knitcraft leader of the pack. It is an Aran weight yarn. It's 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca. And it's not a flat colour, it's another mild one. Well, actually the grey is mild, the other colours are just flat colours. I don't know what the word is, I keep saying flat, and I don't know if I mean flat, but I hope you know what I mean when I say flat. This one's falling apart, look at that. I'm going to have to unwind that a little bit and see if I can tidy that. Why have I started doing it now though? I didn't mean to do that. So I'll put that in the bag. For these, I'm going to be very, very silly and make up my own pattern. I am asking for trouble. Just asking for it. It's ridiculous. I would like some cosy socks to wear at home, almost like slipper socks. I could even buy some of that goop you put on the bottom to make them non-slippy. I probably could have bought some at Hobbycraft. I bet that's the sort of thing they do. 2 floors as well. 2 floors. They had like a mezzanine with yarn and a little craft table so people were sat around making stuff. But not as much yarn as I was hoping. There were a few rows, but it was I thought there could have been more. Okay, this is this problem is deep in this ball of yarn. Deep. So I'm going to do mostly grey, and then there'll be some sort of rainbow striping going on in these socks, and they're going to be I'll write it down as I go, as I normally do, even if it's just an experiment, just because you never know, that experiment might work really well. But they might be a disaster, I don't know, and I might end up just binning the whole idea. There we go, had to unwind quite a lot to get to that. And then I've got, that's, how many socks is that? The Christmas stocking, the real socks, 4-ply socks, and that's what I mean by real socks, and the Aran weight socks. And I'm also making another pair, a 4th pair. The 4th pair I'm going to make first, and they're a test crochet, so I'm not going to talk about those until after I've made them. But I'm going to use some brand new yarn for those. I'll show you in a minute. It's very exciting. Okay, what am I going to talk about next? Yarndale. Well, I've never been to Yarndale before, and I was blown away. I had no idea it was going to be that big. No idea at all. Yarndale is a yarn festival, a 2-day event that is held in a cattle mart, an auction mart. It's huge. It is up 300 miles away from me in the town of Skipton, which is a beautiful town. I went on holiday there last year. Well, I didn't go to Skipton, I went to my family, who are half an hour away, and that's where I stayed with my family when I went to Yarndale. I did 2 nights. Oh my goodness, 300 miles. You might not think that sounds like a long distance. It took me 7 hours to get there. 7 hours. And for those that, there were a few that came from the south of the UK, and from chatting to them, they drove, and it took them equally long time. I got on an aeroplane and a bus and another bus to get there. It didn't take as long on the way home, it only took 5 hours, but I hear that it took between 7 and 9 hours to drive, and at least I could read a book or do crochet if I wanted to. I wasn't glued to the steering wheel, which was what I wanted. I don't want to drive that far. I think I've expressed that before. I arrived a bit late, and so I arrived at lunchtime on the first day, but it was quite a good time to arrive, because everybody had congregated on the lawn outside, so it was very easy to find everybody. And by everybody, I mean, I've written it down. And you know these guys. You know them. I met up with Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast and Claudia from the Crochet Luna podcast. what dedication to have come all the way from San Diego. Kudos, Claudia, kudos. Tamara from Crafty Escapism, Charlie from Love Charlie, and just so many other lovely ladies. Oh, Catherine from Crafternoon Treats was there, and yeah, a whole bunch of us. And I came in through the back way and had to fight because I got on the special Yarndale bus, which I think it sounds like it's on its last legs, and to pull hordes of yarn fans up those hills to get to this festival. I don't know how the engine of that bus did it, I really don't. We were dropped off around the back, and then I decided to just go directly through the venue rather than around the outside. And for a first experience, for that to be your first kind of introduction to a yarn festival. I've been to a couple, but they're much smaller. I was blown away. It was vast, absolutely vast. I've never known anything like it. I didn't wander around, I just went directly straight through to find my way to the front to meet everybody. And where we had a picnic and a chat and a catch up and stuff like that. Because I've met a couple of them before at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival in March. And obviously we chat online as well, and chat via the global hookup every few weeks. So it's not weird. It's not weird at all. It's like you know each other anyway, even though you've never actually met in the flesh. Or most of them I hadn't met in the flesh. In fact, it felt completely normal. It was just the volume of it that was absolutely, like, it was just mental. Just people everywhere. It was packed. And they say that it is like sardines. I've heard other people talk about it, and yeah, it was. But one thing it wasn't was hot. I was freezing the whole time. So cold. Because I thought it was going to be hot. Everybody said how hot it was. I dressed quite lightly. Big mistake. Right. The first day, I didn't buy very much. See, it's like come loose again. It's not too bad at the minute. The first day I didn't buy very much. I was quite cautious. I just did 2 circuits, trying to take in everything, which is impossible, but I tried my best. I bought a couple of things, but it was the next day that I did some serious purchasing of goods. And I bumped in, I went and said hello to the girls at Inside Crochet. They had a stand, and because I've done a lot of design work for them, I wanted to go and say hello. And when I got there, Sarah from Annaboo's house was there, Shana from Sweet Shana, Chrissy from Chrissy Crafts, and Hattie from the Petal Shed were there. And it was great to be able to chat to other designers and other fabulous people that I've only ever sort of seen snippets of on Instagram. I hadn't sort of organised to meet them or anything, although the night before there was a pub do, which I popped along for a drink, but I couldn't stay because I was going out with my family afterwards. So I didn't get to chat to anyone then. But yeah, anyway, I mean, it was lovely. I bumped into loads of different people and chatted to loads of different people. And also there were loads of people I didn't get the opportunity to talk to. I didn't see them, even though I knew certain people were going, you know, people that you chat to online. Our paths just didn't cross. And I thought I'm bound to bump into these people just in passing. You don't because it's just so big. And thank you to those who gave me presents and stuff. I didn't expect that, and I didn't take any, and I feel terrible. But I got some lovely things. So, I mean, I've shown you the bag I got from Claudia, but on that bag is also a beautiful Lanaboo pin, enamel pin. I didn't bump into Lanaboo, but somebody else, Brown Eyed Girl from Instagram, gifted me this, and she made beautiful cookies as well, biscuits. They were so nice. And then I got a couple of other bits, some stitch markers and stuff from Charlie, and I'll show you my yarn. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm going to make me some space. Make some space. In my Yarndale bag, £8 this tote was, and it's really sturdy. It's a proper sturdy tote bag. Yarndale. Okie dokie. Destined for socks. I have some 5 Moons hand painted yarn. There's another one in here somewhere. This is a 100-gram skein, Hank, and these are 50 grams, and it's all 4-ply. And the thing that tickled me is that yesterday when I took a photograph of them, I actually looked at the label properly, and it says hand dyed in the Blackdown Hills, Devon. Essentially, I have gone 300 miles up that way, 300 miles back, and these guys are just down the road from me, or up the road. Yeah. These two are just 75-25. This one is almost neon, but it's not neon, and this one is not neon, it's just a beautiful pink colour. And then this is just beautiful. This is 70% superwash merino, 20% yak and 10% nylon. Yak, never used yak before. It is, you can feel it, you can feel the difference. It's softer than just the merino nylon one. It is a little bit softer. It kind of looks marginally plumper, just marginally. 5 Moons, not on Instagram, but they do have a website and an Etsy shop and whatnot. Socks. There'll be a pair of socks by the end of the weekend. Okie dokes. I'm just going to jump in, and whatever comes out, comes out. I got myself some chunky. This is from Wool Couture. When I bought this, they gave me a pattern book as well, crochet patterns. Really good patterns too. And if you buy the latest issue of Crochet Now magazine, it's a Christmas issue, you get that magazine for free. It's got Bella Coco in it. I know that much. She's modelling loads of really lovely designs with chunky yarn. This is 100%, they're both 100% merino. I think it's very similar, but slightly different as well. This feels lighter and more airy. That's 50 gram balls, but they were £4.50 each, which I didn't think was that much at all. And then this was £9.50. Must be different because they tot up to different prices. I want to knit with this one. I want to knit a cowl in moss stitch. I figured that would be quite easy to do, and I was told 15mm needles, and that's what I've got. So I'll wind that up at some point. But it's a project that's going to have to wait, and I really want to do it now, but I can't. And I can't remember the name of the store that I got these from, because I don't think the Coop Knits or Skein Queen was there. It's just that there was a store that was selling these as part of a jumper set. I can't remember the name of the jumper, but it's got a lightning strike down the centre of it in these two colours, and then the rest is a beautiful shade of grey. But I didn't want to make the jumper because it was knitted in, that would be beyond me. But I bought that, and I liked that it went with this really dark teal colour. And I thought maybe about doing some wrist warmers with that. I thought that might look really nice. We'll see. This is all subject to change. I bought some mohair. This is the only twist of mohair I bought. It's from Beehive Yarns, and it's 72% kid mohair, 28% silk. When you buy hanks of the lace weight silk, they're 50 grams, even though they look like they're a similar size to, well actually that's bigger. No, it's a similar size, isn't it? Similar length. This is 100 grams of 4-ply from Rusty Ferret, and it's a 75-25 mix. Oh my god, it's so nice. Fortitude. I don't know if that's the name of the base or the... It's either called Fortitude or Doll. One is the base and one is the colourway. I'm not sure. What is this? This one's called Gunsmoke. And it's on the Patty base. Patty. All named after like sort of cool names that are synonymous with the 50s and 60s. I think there was like Dusty and Dolly, names like that. I'm going to work these two together somehow in something. I don't know what yet, but these two are meant to be, and I'm going to work them together, as in at the same time. And I got these Cookston Crafts, hand dyed in Aberdeenshire. 75-25 4-ply. Have they got a name? They aren't called anything. Oh, Flounder. It's called Flounder. Basically cream with very few rainbowy specks on them, which I've had in my imagination for a long time, and here it is. Truly Hooked. I've wanted to get my hands on Truly Hooked for a long time, and now I've got it. Blueberry and Radioactive, and these are going to be a Rapture border, or a Rapture sequel border, shall we say, at some point in the future. Oh my god, they're just, I love them. I love them. I love it all. Titus by Bahram U. This colourway, I don't know, Titus Nidderdale, Brett 024, Lot Morley. 70% British wool, 30% UK alpaca. It's 100% British, spun and dyed in Yorkshire. A blend of 50% Wensleydale long wool, 20% Blueface Leicester and 30% UK alpaca. That's cool. It feels beautiful. But it also feels slightly rustic as well. But this, I think, might be my summer design for my seasons collection. The green on screen is not the same as the green in real life. The green in real life is much more lush and verdant. Beautiful. And then I'll do all this in one go. On day 2 I went round with Claudia. On day 1 I went round pretty much by myself, just so I could kind of get my bearings and work out where everything was, and just have a sort of a slow think, really. Because it's a huge commitment buying this much wool. It's very serious business. I take myself very seriously. I went round with Claudia on the second day in the afternoon, after lunch. And she got very excited when we came across Dalton, a company called the Dalton Border Leicester Yarn. And she turns out she follows him on Instagram and absolutely loves the sheep that the yarn comes from. So I didn't buy this. Claudia bought it for me because she's very naughty and very generous. And then I was also gifted by the people on the stall these 2 mini skeins, and they said, Claudia just went, we said something like, oh, you've got beautiful samples on display here, it's just a shame they're all knitted. And they said, oh, we've been after a crochet designer for a long time. And Claudia just went, she's a designer, get her. And so they gave me these two and said, have a play, see what ideas you can come up with and let us know. They took my details and stuff. I'm not sure if we're like the perfect fit, but I'd love to give it a go. And so I thought I'd play around with these. Some of the designs they had that were knitted were beautiful, and but did get my mind wearing about what I could come up with and what ideas I could have. And I started talking to Claudia about it. And as we sort of walked off and moved on, she just went, here, go, and handed me this. And she went, design something. And then she's going to test it when I've got an idea already. In my big list of many things to do, it will be made, and it will be a new design. But we went around and I was saying, well, what do you want me to design? You choose. This is your, you've bought this. You choose what do you want me to make? And we were having sort of lots of discussions and ideas. And she's like, make what you like. But I don't know. So this is making my head itch too much. It's too hot in here. There's no reflection on the wall. Sorry. It's a good advert, isn't it? Beautiful colours. Beautiful feeling. And then the other thing, I saved this at the same time, it's because Claudia gifted nearly everybody she met. She was we got a beautiful skein of hand-dyed yarn by one of her favourite yarn dyers in the US, which is Wolfie Wool, and a beautiful couple of stitch markers and stuff. It's lovely. I've got a stitch marker that says California on it. So if you're in the US and fancy a yarn dyer that's new to you, Wolfie Wool. It's beautiful, it's lovely. And so that is my yarn haul, which I know it's quite a lot, but I have saved up for this. And everything I've bought, I've made sure that I've had, for the most part, an idea about what I'm going to use it for. So although I didn't expressly have a specific shopping list, I did make sure that when I purchased something, I sort of told myself, this is going to be this thing or that thing. And so I've got a vague idea, but who's to say whether or not that sticks? I don't know. So that's my Yarndale haul. I had a fabulous time, absolutely fabulous time. The first day I was knackered and it wasn't as good fun as the second day, I'll tell you that. I think the first day I could have easily just sort of found a little pile of wool and gone to sleep. Whereas day two I was far more willing to get stuck in. Oh yeah! Whilst I was there talking to the guys at Inside Crochet, I saw my scarf on their stand, on their stall. This is in the current issue 106, I believe. I talked about it last time, didn't I? So I think when episode 38 came out, the magazine had just come out the day I recorded. So that was 2 weeks ago. That means there's still 2 weeks of this being on sale. It's called In a Flap, and it was on their stand, and I was like, oh look, that's mine. And they're like, do you want to take it with you? And I was so cold, but I said yes I will. Even though I was like, no, people will come and they will want to see it. But by then it was sort of after lunch on the Sunday afternoon. Most people had probably already seen it. So I thought, oh, why not? I'll bring it back home with me. Isn't that just what? I love this stitch pattern so much. Oh, it looks so good. And the tassels. I made this with Eden Cottage yarns. It's a 4-ply silk blend with something else. Milburn yarn, Milburn I think it's called. Comes in loads of different colours, and this is like a peach colour, apricot. it looks so nice when I'm looking at it on the screen. That stitch pattern, so pretty. Inspired by the 1920s, this is. So that's why it's called Inner Flap, because I imagined that it could be something a flapper girl wore. So this is my new scarf. What do you reckon? Do you like it? I really like it. It's not my colour, I have to say. But I don't mean to say I don't like it. I think it's gorgeous, but I don't ever wear this colour. It's very luxurious. I was looking at myself going, that was a nice face, wasn't it? Right, I'll stop fannying about with it. So I brought it home with me. And I got to see a shawl that's going to be in the next issue that looks just stunning. Nobody could remember what the yarn was that had been used, but it was glorious. I think the designer of said shawl is Carmen, and I can't remember her surname or her Instagram handle. Everything is absolutely covered in fluff at the minute because I made those blue pom-poms, and it is everywhere. I think Carmen Heffernan. Not this. This is mine. So the shawl I saw for the next issue, I think they said that the designer was Carmen's, and she's Annie Design Crochet on Insta, and she's got a huge following because her work is fantastic. She designed a shawl that's also in this issue. It's the one I showed you a picture of the other day. That one, the blue one with the pink border. It's so much gorgeous stuff there. Oh, moving on from Yarndale. Oh, blue and peach goes nicely together, doesn't it? Oh, look at that. What shall I do with two pom-poms that are slightly different sizes? So I made 3 in the end. Go check out Crochet Red Agape on the big World Wide Web. Mandy features designers from time to time, and her latest feature is about me. Oh my god. I had got in touch with her to say thank you because there's a new magazine that just started a couple of issues ago. It's Knit and Crochet, and I think it might be a sister magazine to Crochet Now. I'm not sure. But I got an email from them to say they wanted to do an interview. Would I be interested? Yes, I would. Thank you very much. And what happens is there's like a round robin type thing. I don't know if that's no, that's wrong. Passing the baton, that one, that saying. The person who is interviewed passes the baton onto the next designer or maker or whatever. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, it might be a secret because I don't know if the magazine's out yet, whoops. But I know that Mandy had been interviewed for one issue and had passed the baton on to me. So I sent her a message to say thank you very much for, for suggesting me as the next interview. That's amazing. Sort of just slightly bamboozled and stuff. So I said thank you, and she was like, well, whilst I've got you here, would you be interested in doing a feature for my blog? And I was like, yes, of course. So that's now up on Mandy's website, so go and have a read. It's a little interview, and like I said, I don't know if it's supposed to be a secret, but I've got an interview coming out with them soon as well, I think, unless they read it and went, this is rubbish, don't publish this. I don't know if they will or they won't. I think it's due out this month or next, I don't know. And the same goes for if next week you find yourself in a newsagent's, you might want to buy yourself Molly Makes magazine. you might feel like you want to buy that issue 98. You might. Oh my gosh, that was quicker than I thought it was going to be. Although probably still quite a long running time. And I'm sitting here playing with my balls. I think that is everything, and if I can manage it, I'm going to set up the camera upstairs on my boy's nice white clean desk. It won't be clean yet, I'll have to go and sort it out. And then I can record the tutorial for this. It's quite good, isn't it? I'm thinking après-ski. Is that a stupid name for a hat and a cowl? Just because it totally reminds me of like an 80s ski suit. Après-ski. Have you got anything better? Let me know. It might be too late though. Or maybe I should just take the photographs for it and then do the recording tomorrow. I must get it out by tomorrow evening, no matter what the cost. Right. Finally, before I go, I want to reiterate the message that I probably didn't exactly put across very clearly the last time I said it, which was 2 issues ago. And that is, can everybody just be nice? It's not hard to be just nice. If you don't like something, move on. It's that simple. If you're not happy about something, press stop. Go and find somebody else to watch. It's not hard. Yeah, thank you. And whilst I'm still recording, watch Killing Eve because it is fantastic. I'm going to go blow my nose, have another cup of tea or possibly a lemsip, and move on to the next job in hand. Cheerio, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.